We have Tim Elliott versus Muhammad Mokaev. Um, but really fun fight. I mean, I'm glad that they found a fight for Muhammad Mokaev. I know he was trying to get a fight after he amazingly, I don't know how this guy's even fighting because last fight he tore his knee or something. So yeah, I'm amazed that he's actually even coming back. But anyways, he's fighting against Tim Elliott, 19, 12 and 1, 4 and 1 in his last five. Obviously, he's in the UFC vet, 36 years old. 5'7", 66-inch reach. They're going to be fighting the flyweight division, by the way. Fighting against Muhammad Mokaev, 9-0, 5-0 in his last five, coming off of that submission rear naked choke over Hafe Fiallo. But once again, he got himself into a really gnarly kind of knee bar there. And, I think, yeah, he tore like every ligament. I'm surprised that he's even fighting right now. 23 years old, 5'7", 70-inch reach. So he's going to be the slightly longer fighter here as far as the reach advantage, 4-inch reach there. Um, odds wise, I mean, I wish they were a little tighter, honestly, because I would have definitely played Muhammad Mokaev, but he opened up at a minus 500. He did get bet to a minus 700 at one point, and now he's a minus 425 as far as his odds. So a little bit of action on Tim Elliott, the vet. Tim Elliott, for those who don't know, I mean, he's a tough old school fighter. He has a really awkward style where he likes to kind of face towards his side to his opponent and then kind of force out strikes and incorporate that kind of dirty grappling in a way and tries to get a sub. I mean, this guy really loves to go for those subs. He comes forward, high pace, high pressure. He likes to turn those fights into grappling kind of fights where he does his best work. Um, you saw against that last fight though against Victor Altamirano, his gas tank does seem to be fading a little bit as he ages. I think that he started off really strong against Victor, but in the later rounds, I mean, Victor was making that fight closer than it needed to be. It seemed like Elliott was, winning convincingly, and then Victor was coming back a little bit. But Tim did finish it off. He won there. Um, but I think that just style wise, this is going to be a bad matchup for Tim Elliott because Muhammad Mokaev is also a great, terrific offensive grappler, great takedowns, he's good trips. He does have a worrying kind of defensive grappling game that I'm kind of worried about now because I feel like he's been taken down in like almost every one of his fights, maybe except for the Charles Johnson one, but I feel like he's been taken down a lot. Um, so that's a little worrying. He's not the best striker. He really wants to also turn into grappling fights. So I mean, I feel like both of these guys are going to try to grapple each other. Um, I do think that if you're a more offensively kind of aggressive fighter, that plays into Muhammad Mokaev a little bit more because you saw what Cody Durden did, right? In against his fight against Muhammad Mokaev. Cody Durden straight up went for the kind of the all American takedown, right? The double leg, the classic double leg, and Muhammad Mokaev just kind of straight up guillotined this guy. I mean, it was a really quick one. Kind of showed him what he was about. Um, I think that that might be where we're headed. I feel like Tim Elliott is going to be ultra aggressive. He's going to go in reckless. He's going to try to prove that he's the better grappler on the ground against Mokaev. I just don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, Tim has been finished before in his career. I mean, he's a vet. He's already lost 12 times. I feel like Muhammad's probably going to find the sub here. So my pick is Muhammad Mokaev by sub. I feel like he's a possible parlay piece. I mean, I'll probably hold off for now though until face-offs and weigh-ins. Obviously, I mean it's minus 425 right now. It is a little bit juiced up, but I don't think it's too juiced up. I mean, plus 140, by the way, is by a decision. I mean, by submission. Sorry. So I think that's a pretty good prop to play if you're looking for those plus odds. Turning a 425 favorite into a plus 140 dog. So that's a pretty good one, at least in my opinion. So Mokaev by sub here. But I'll hold off for parlays depending on how face-offs look. But Alex, what do you think about Tim Elliott and Muhammad Mokaev here?
Yeah, I think Makaev's like a very opportunistic submission expert. So my initial thought was, him winning by sub or decision. Um, but yeah, like I there are like a couple like things I don't like about Makaev. Like I don't like his lack of volume on the feet. Um, his last fight against Filio, he had a very like lackluster round two, in my opinion. Um, but he'll shoot for single leg takedowns. He'll mix it up, but I think it's more of like a fade on Tim Elliott. He's getting up there in age. Uh, like you said, his last fight against Victor Altamirano, he was he was getting pieced up on the feet, um, and getting gassed towards the later rounds. Um, and I watched like quite a few of Elliott's like fights. I think he has a very interesting fighting stance and style. He keeps his hands like very low, but again, he also does like getting fights down to the mat. Like he's also kind of like a grappler. So I think that's gonna create opportunities for Mokaev to get the submission win. Um, but yeah, even though Mokaev's 23, 9-0 record, like looks like a prospect. I'm not overly impressed with him as a fighter, but I think Mokaev's gonna get it done. Um, I don't think Tim Elliott's gonna be the one to get that undefeated record from him. So
Yeah,
pick here is Mokaev.
I agree. I agree. I don't think that Tim Elliott's going to be the guy. Although he has a skill set for it, I just feel like the style matchup wise, I feel like it's not the guy to do it to Mokaev. I feel like Mokaev will be, based off what you mentioned, it could be a potential fade in the future depending on who he fights in the next fight, right? Maybe he
Yeah,
fights a more like a more like patient, kind of measured, controlled grappler, who kind of like a counter grappler, if you will. So like, if you find someone like that who wants to play that waiting game against him, it could be in store for a fade there. But yeah, I mean Tim Elliott is too aggressive in this case. I feel like he's going to do the same thing that, for example, like Cody Durden did. He might do the same thing, just catch this guy in the gillies. So, yeah, pick
yeah,
here is Mohammad Mokaev, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens as far as the weigh-ins, at least for me.